Hi everyone, welcome to the video. And today we have Baswati Roy with us, and she contributed to GSOD 23 in ASIC API project. And we are discussing about what is the GSOD, how student can get benefits from it, why students should thinking to participate in that program, what are the benefits that you get, and a lot of things. So yeah, Baswati, it would be great if you just start with a little bit introduction.
Okay, sure. So, hello everyone, I'm Bhashwati Roy. I was an intern at Barclays London for this summer as a developer analyst intern. And I also love contributing to open source. And I really found documentation and technical writing quite interesting, which is why I also tried for Google Season of Docs, and I was accepted in the 2023 program in the Async API initiative, which is a project owned by Postman organization. Yeah, so that's pretty much
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah, thanks for giving us the introduction. So the thing that I want to know, tell us about the Google Season of Docs. Already people know the GSOD, but I have some students who are just starting their first year. So give us a small introduction about the program and why students should participate into that.
So Google Season of Docs is a program which is mostly focused on technical writing and documentation, and it is also funded by Google open source software. And it is a very similar program to Google Summer of Code, and it also has a similar timeline. But the only difference is Google Summer of Code mostly focuses on code part, and Google Season of Docs mostly focuses on technical documentation, technical writing-based contributions. Sometimes they also focus on projects which have API documentations. So this is where Google Season of Docs is different from Google Summer of Code.
Okay. Yeah, that's completely right. And GSOD is more focused on the open source projects who have every community has documentations, but the community who want to get technical writers into their community and looking for the information of the documentations. So that's the basic introduction of the GSOD. And the first thing that I want to know, this program only for the students or someone who just completed their college or someone who just enrolled in their college, they can also participate. Like, is there any professional knowledge required before contributing to GSOD?
Not really, because since I was contributing to Async API, I saw people who are already passed out, and I also saw people who are contributing and participating who are just in their second year. So it does not depend on which program you are enrolled in, because I also saw people from last year who have done like Bachelor of Arts, which is completely different from computer science, but still they were selected in the Google Season of Docs program. So they do not discriminate you for your degree, your college, or whether you are passed out or a fresher experience. It does not matter. So they treat every candidate in a similar perspective.
Yeah, as you mentioned, some students also selected from the BA degrees. So it means
yes.
If you have passion for the technology and that particular community, so you can contribute and you can participate in GSOD. You don't need to be a technical expert or a technical degree in computer science. If you are someone from another field and if you are curious about that particular community, you can participate. And apart from that, tell us about your story, like how you started with the technical writing. You already contributed to Async API documentations before taking participation into GSOD, and how you started with the GSOD preparation, all the stuff.
Sure. So in any open source programs, what they see at first is your contributions, not just in that project, but in other communities or projects as well. So I got to know about this program in 2022. And when I got to know, it was quite late and I didn't have enough time to submit a proposal or submit an application to any of the projects. But I still thought of giving it a shot, and I decided to contribute to Moja Global in that time. And in 12 days, I submitted 2 PRs, which were merged. And then I also wrote an application, but I didn't have enough contributions in Moja Global. So I didn't get accepted at that time. But I kept this thing in mind that, okay, because when I got the feedback from the reviewers, they told me that I didn't have enough contributions in Moja Global, which is why they are not shortlisting me for now. So I should I should improve my profile for the next year by contributing more to other organizations as well as Moja Global, so that I can like prepare for the next year. So I did the same. I started to contribute to different documentation issues from January 2023, because GSOD applications open on April 2023. I mean, in the month of April. So I still had 4 months before I submit my final proposal or the application. So before that, I almost contributed to like 8 different organizations, because the more you try to contribute in different organizations, you will understand how technical writing works, and you will understand how software documentation is actually different in different organizations. So I believe that if you try to at least look at the projects of 3 to 4 organizations and try to contribute them, even if they are not merged, even if the pull requests are ongoing, they are still accepted as a contribution. So I did the same. When I submitted my application in April 2023, some of my pull requests in some organizations were still ongoing, but they were also considered because I was trying to contribute to those organizations. And apart from this, I also did, I wrote blogs for an open source organization, like 2 blogs, which also enhanced my technical writing experience. And in my first year, I also did a software documentation internship. And that was not very much like inclined to open source. It was a small startup, but yeah, that counted. So this was my journey, how I prepared my application for async API. And this was everything about my past contributions. So in the application form, they ask you like different questions, like why are you interested in getting accepted to GSOD at the specific organization? What are your contributions in other organizations as well as that specific organization? And how would you like help others or give back to the community if you are ever selected in this organization? And then they sometimes ask your detailed technical writing experience, like you have to link the PRs you have worked on. You have to like add some description of what work you have exactly done, so that they can understand how much you have worked and what are the type of contributions you have made. And yeah, so these are the main steps which I followed to like apply for async API GSOD program.
Oh, that's great. And the point that you mentioned that before participating into GSOT, that you mentioned that your 2 PRs are merged, and someone from the reviewer team connected with you and told you that these PR are not enough to get you selected in that particular program. Then you have to look for the next year. So for the people who are just starting out or just thinking to participate in that program, GSOT, so I highly suggest all the people all like GSOD announced in April every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now it's November. So you can. This is a great time to start with it. Try to already figure out the communities which you are interested and go to their documentation. Try to figure out is there any bugs or any issue that you can contribute to, and try to merge. Try to contribute to more. So you have highly chances they will select you into the GSOD. So this is the conclusion that I want to do. And yeah, so the next thing, like which level technical knowledge that people have who are preparing for the GSOT, like you contribute to async API. So people like you already have a knowledge about the API, how does that work, different ways of REST API, GraphQL to work with APIs. So like what do you think, like how much knowledge particular person have before contributing to GSOT?
Yeah, so you need to know about what that organization is actually working on, their most recent technologies which they're using. For async API, I had to study about APIs as well as event-driven architectures, because async API actually builds APIs which are like triggered by event-driven architectures. So these are some of the concepts which are specific to async API. Similarly, when I was contributing to Moja Global, they are an organization like works on data analysis stuffs for different data sets related to land sectors, then climatic conditions. So I had a pretty brief knowledge about data analysis and data science also, because I was working on projects with the same. So it was helpful for me to understand those parts. It was a bit difficult for me to understand async API and its work, because to be honest, async API is very different from my domain. So I would suggest, like, if someone is targeting, even in technical documentation, you should try to target organizations which align with your interests. In my case, I did shortlist 4 to 5 organizations, but none of them were selected for GSOD this year. And I only had async API in my options, which was selected. So I didn't have pretty much options. But if you have, then please try to go for organizations which align with your interests. And if you don't have, then you have to like challenge yourself and learn that thing.
Oh, that's good. And like as you mentioned, like you are more familiar with the data science, Python, and the complete different domain compared to async API, and still that you take that challenge to work with async APIs. And also to the people who are watching this video, I recommend, if you're coming from the JavaScript stuff, so try to connect with the communities who are tech stack, mainly focus on the JavaScript and other text that similar to tech stack. But you are coming from Python, so try to look for the projects which are working on the Python and that stuff. Don't apply blindly. Just like if you have 6 options and you are applying for the 6 and you have no idea what are the tech stack that they are using, so try to figure out which tech stack they are using and your familiarity with that particular tech stack. So that's the great point that you mentioned. And the next thing, like proposal is a important thing in GSOD journey. So tell us about your proposal journey, how you created, and what are the tips that you like to give to people who are participating in the GSOD 24, how they can create proposal to get selected into this particular program.
Sure. So, like in Google Season of Docs, some of the organizations have that PDF type of proposal where
Okay.
you can like list everything about your past contributions, your familiarity with the project, and your ideas for the same. But for async API and other 1 to 2 organizations which I saw this year, they have a Google form where they already have the set of questions, like your past contributions is a question, your current PRs, and your idea for the project they are having, what is your past experience with technical writing. So they have already listed the questions and you have to frame your answers for that. So instead of a
Okay.
PDF, you are submitting a Google form, which is actually a proposal. And you need to give like a lot of time for that. I took 7 days and I spent my entire day to like frame my answers for those questions, because in interviews, like Google Season of Docs have some organizations which also have interviews. In async
Okay.
API, they do have interviews. So I was pretty sure that in interviews, they shortlist very less number of people. Like they shortlisted around 10 to 12 people for interviews from like 90 to 100 applicants. So that number is quite less. And getting selected from an interview is like you have a higher chance of getting selected instead of from the pool of applications to interview. So I try to frame my answers as closely as possible to their requirements, so that they can shortlist my profile. And when I was selected for interviews, I had one interview in which they had like a writing and editing part, and it was kind of a discussion, and I had to point out some mistakes and suggest my ideas for the technical documentation which the interviewer gave me, and then they declared the results for the final technical writers.
Okay. So like for the people who are taking participation, GSOD, some of the communities provide you a PDF like document, as you mentioned, which is similar to not exactly the Google form, but some kind of, you can assume. So, and you have to fill that answer that they ask into the particular form, like your previous contributions, the work that you already did as a technical writer, maybe internship or any project that you work. And according to that, they select the particular applications and they call you for the interview and the next thing as goes on. So after creating proposal and the selection, what are the next steps happen? They help you with the resources and documentation. They guide you through the documentation, or they have particular PR and bugs that they have for GSOC people. Because in GSOC, I recently connected with the person who contributed to GSOC, and he told me like after selecting the proposal and all the stuff, we have community bonding period where community people come and introduce ourselves with the technical team, so we can better communicate with them and see what are the bugs and code that we can do. So what after the GSOT proposal accepting, what are the next steps?
Yeah, so like after I was selected in GSOD, so we were 4 of the interns who were selected for GSOD, and we were assigned to one mentor who is currently the lead documentation engineer in async API. And she created a list of issues which we had to solve for
Okay.
Google season of docs for this year. And we have like weekly meetings, and where we are assigned our tasks, and we also give updates about our tasks. And sometimes we also have some one-on-one schedules with our mentors, so that we can like inform them that if we are having any problems with the PRs or the issues which we are working on. And sometimes we are also stuck in like very difficult technical issues which our mentor is possibly not able to help us, because she's mostly working in the documentation part. And these are something like, I mean, the documentation is mostly on the new project parts which are not yet documented, so we don't have any resources to look on to write it. So we are mostly consulting the technical engineers at that point, whether,
Okay.
I mean, if we need any help or any reviews for our PR, or if we are confused or and what content we should add. So definitely there are some mentors and people who help you in this process.
Yeah, like definitely. And a lot of student or people thinking like after accepting into the GSOT, selecting, there will be people who can help you. You are not alone. As you mentioned that there are 4 people that selected into Async API 23. So you are not alone, and definitely they are documentation engineer. And if particular PR not able to solve by them, so there are technical team that they can help you with the particular bug and issue. So you have to be a good with yourself, but maybe you're not able to able to fix that particular bug. So definitely people are there to mentor you or help you. So yeah,
Definitely.
and definitely, and I think you people know the knowledge of the Git and GitHub version control systems, because in open source, the main tool or the main thing that you need as a technical writer or developer is a Git and GitHub, because without them, you're not able to merge particular PR or creating PR. So tell us about that. Like, what are the essential, uh, not exactly the commands, but exactly the knowledge that we have of the Git and GitHub.
Yeah, so like we didn't need to go in very much in-depth part of Git and GitHub, but you should at least know to how to like fork the project, clone that, and make changes, and again merge that. I mean, commit those things into the actual repo, and then probably open a pull request and then asking for a review, again committing the changes which they are asking. So these are the very basic things which everyone should know. Otherwise, like, you will be stuck, and already like engineers are quite busy with the technical parts, and if you're asking about something which is already available on the internet, it will be time consuming for you as well. So it is always recommended for everyone to like have the basic knowledge of Git and GitHub, which I think people will gain that knowledge only if they start contributing. So
Yeah,
Git and GitHub is something, it's not a theoretical knowledge part. It's everything about practical stuffs. So if
agree.
you are contributing to like 3 to 4 organizations, you are putting up pull requests, getting suggestions from the reviewers, and again committing the changes, you will already be accustomed with how GitHub works for the basic applications.
Yeah, I agree. And version control system is not something that you read through the book or article and you will run. You will learn. You have to be a practical in terms of version control system. You have to contribute a particular project, or you have a basic idea how to fork the repo, how to clone that particular repo after creating a branch, how you can merge that particular branch, how to create PR, and a lot of things. But not in depth, but these are the basic thing that you should know as a developer or as a person who want to contribute to open source. These are the very basics of the open source. So yeah, and the next thing, what are the perks and benefits you will get as a person after contributing to GSOD in terms of money, networking, job? Tell us about everything.
Sure. So first, coming to job, if someone is like aiming at applying to technical writer jobs in different companies, then or probably trying to target freelance projects or contractual jobs, then I think GSOD is a very plus point for your resume, because this is a program which is authorized by Google. You are not directly working with Google, but you are indirectly selected by them. So this is a very good opportunity for someone who is starting their journey, because I saw past mentees in Async KPI as well as other organizations. Some of them have chosen technical writer as their main job role, and they are like working in companies which like pay good amount, and it's very helpful for them to get into that job with this profile. And coming to the stipend, like the stipend varies from different organization to organization, depending on the type and the difficulty of the project. Also, it depends upon the number of technical writers the organization is trying to hire. For example, Async KPI received a stipend of like $10,000 from Google to distribute amongst all the technical writers. So in case, suppose if there were 2 technical writers selected, then they would distribute it as 5,000. And since now it is selected as 4, they are distributing as 2,500. And the best thing is you can actually see how much, stipend is awarded to them, because it is clearly mentioned in the Google Season of Docs website. So everything is like clear to you that, okay, this organization is paying this much, and you can like choose or understand the workload also, because sometimes if an organization is paying too much, then it will also expect a lot of workload from you. So the stipend is a good criteria to understand your workload, whether you will be able to manage your work hours with your job or your college and the organization. So, and for networking, I would say yes, it helped me, because I networked with a lot of people from Async KPI, as well as I talked to people from other communities, because there were some pull requests in Async, which I had to do as a part of GSOD, which required some information which I had to gather from other communities like Killer Coda. So I had a talk with a lead engineer in Killer Coda also, and I networked with him also. So this was a great networking opportunity for me as well, and definitely a good learning experience, because documentation is something which is very important even as software engineers also. If we
Yeah,
don't document our projects today or don't add comments, then someone who is seeing our project, maybe some recruiter or interviewer, will not properly understand what our project is aiming to do. So
yeah.
I had a great learning experience here as well.
Definitely. And I agree with the point that you mentioned that technical writing is essential for all the developers. Even after creating the particular repository or particular project on GitHub, there is a file called README. So you have to be specify and very clear with that particular project or repository. You have to specify everything on that README file, what the project about it is, how you can contribute, tech stack, maybe any particular demonstration through the graphical, so people can understand in a better way. So technical writing is important, and yeah, documenting your code is the best way to share with the people who want to contribute or want to learn that particular project. So technical writing is a must as a developer. Would be great if you just start creating on uh, any platform or any sort of uh, thing. So yeah, and next thing I want to know, tell us about your Barclays internship. Is there any help you got after contributing to GSOT to get this opportunity? Or is there something that you apply particular website?
For Barclays, I applied in June 2022, and I received an online assessment which is automatic, like there were 2 rounds. one is the aptitude and next is the behavioral. Both were under a same assessment link, but there were sections in which you have to complete like each section differently. So after that, some people received like coding round, online assessments, and some didn't. So last year it was dependent on your resume whether they'll send you the coding assessment link or not. But this year they are like sending coding assessment link to everyone. And after that, they called for interviews in February 2023, which was like quite late because of recession and like COVID and lockdown and everything. So after having the interviews in February, I had my selection email in March. So it was a pretty long process back then, but this year they are like making it quite fast. After the online assessments, they are calling for interviews in just 1 month.
Okay, that's great. And just one thing to know, is there any technical guide you followed before contributing to GSOD or after selecting into GSOD? Just like I know the particular course or particular guide provided by the Google technical writing course
Yes.
that they have, where they mention how the particular article or technical documentation should be look like, what are the steps you follow, the markdown guide, uh, para, and all those stuff. So is there any guide, particular community, like throw to you who you have to follow, like particular guide to write particular article?
Yeah, so there was this guide from Google, which was really helpful. And apart from that, I believe there are specific guides which are provided by the Language Software Foundation. That is, Python has its own specific rules in which you should document a Python file. Similarly, JavaScript has their own rules in which you should document. So if you just Google like Python software documentation rules, and you will get some resources on the same. So I used those resources to contribute.
Okay. And the last thing, if I want to start preparing for the GSOD and want to be a part of particular organization, just like as Async API, I'm preparing for that particular project for 24 program as a GSOD. So what are the steps you will give me that I have to follow to get selected in that particular project?
Okay, so like firstly, don't just target one project, because there can be chances that you are targeting one project and like you contributed a lot, but that project didn't get selected for GSOD this year. So try to target 3 to 4 projects so that at least one project is selected in GSOD. So just try to contribute in each of the projects equally, and I believe that you will have equal effect in all the projects. So if one of them is selected, then after that you will have 1 month to submit your technical writing application, or maybe 15-20 days. So it's completely dependent on the organization itself. So once they release the forms or open the portal for submitting the proposals, you can like contribute to that organization and simultaneously work on your proposal or the form answers. So once you have like done 2 to 3 PRs in that organization, from starting from 3 to 4, if you're starting way ahead, like 3 to 4 months ahead, then you will have chances to submit at least 2 to 3 pull requests successfully in 2 to 3 organizations again. So in each organization, you will have 2 to 3 PRs, and you will also have your form answers ready. So make sure you like give your best in the form answers, because those are this step is the most important one, because maximum of the applicants get filtered out here and very few get to go to the interview round. And interviews are quite easy as compared to the form applications. So I would suggest like give your best there, write everything you have done, like mention every experience you had in technical writing, so that your application stands out from the crowd.
Yeah, and completely agree. And yeah, like these are the steps people can follow to get selected into 24 or want to contribute to the GSOD project. I'm just simplifying the simple words. Don't target particular project, only the one project. Try to at least 5 to 6 project that actually excites you. and try to create some contribute to particular projects by creating a PR, fixing that particular documentation bug. So people, it will help you to get selected or get recognized. And at the last point that you mentioned, that particular proposal or the guide questions documentation are very important to get selected. So you have to be very careful before some writing particular answer, because a lot of people filter with that particular round. So these are the three steps or three things that you have to keep in mind to contribute to GSOD. So yeah, that's it. These are the questions that I want to ask you about the program, and a lot of people will definitely get benefits watching this video. So yeah, these are the things. And thank you, Bashwati, for coming on the channel and sharing your learnings. Yeah, like really appreciate the time that you shared with us.
Thank you for inviting me too.
Yeah.